I hope you're enjoying these, James, because, I remember that look on your face when I was pleading with you not to, um, not to block my access to my medication and not to cost me the loss of everything in my life in the station through fraud that you knew was fraud, and not to restrict my travel movements so I could still keep my belongings and life. And you and Shane Cahill set out to directly take everything from me for fraud because you knew it was for Inspector Ciaran Murphy. And we know that you committed perjury, Detective James MacNeill, Detective Shane Cahill, because after I published the audio of the recording with Detective Inspector Cormac Brennan regarding the abuse of the pulse system, you had to change the bail papers, so you presented a false instrument to the court, missing several pages. And Garrett Charles Casey colluded with you on that. But, are you enjoying this, James? This is what you wanted, right? You wanted a little war. You wanted to destroy someone for your corrupt colleague, Inspector Ciaran Murphy, because, you lied to the court. You told him that when he contacted me as a member of GSOC, which that's not true at all. He contacted me as a Kevin Street inspector, and you know that, Detective James MacNeill. And then we get to Detective Shane Cahill, who I routinely refer to as a diminutive goblin. I know you suffer anxiety, and I know you suffer panic attacks, and I know you've got post-traumatic stress disorder. So doing this to another person who has the same things that you have, Shane, that's some low stuff. But, you've got a lot of stuff going on there, a lot of inferiority complex. I can't imagine that enabling paedophiles and this level of corruption is, a stretch. But the both of you know you were committing fraud. You committed perjury. Even that stuttering response outside the High Court, James. I didn't lie in court. I didn't lie. Like, and then I said about my medical papers, and you said, "Oh, we don't have them." And I've supplied them to you. The whole reason I've put my medical papers online is because of your buffoonery and lying. So I hope over the coming days you continue to enjoy this, James, for your fraud. That's why, if you want, that's why the Inspector Ciaran Murphy phone recordings are gone up. That's why Cormac Brennan's phone recordings are gone up. That's why the rest of them are going up. It's all down to you, James, when you gave me that dead-eyed look when I was saying, like, well, you don't have to take my passport. I'll come back for the cases. I know it's fraudulent. But no, you set out to actually destroy me, Detective James MacNeill, Detective Shane Cahill, and I suppose we pause for effect there, right, really? We'll calm it down a little bit. Because the next one is Inspector Ciaran Murphy, who's one of the head of investigations in GSOC, who allowed himself to be recorded admitting that Kevin Street and Garda Brian Gillen were colluding to commit perjury. But he also allowed himself to be recorded admitting that his contact with me was inappropriate and shouldn't be happening. And, he was just doing it to cause distress and obstruct court case. And that's why all of this is happening, really, a lot of it. And that's what Detective James MacNeill and Detective Shane Cahill are involved in for Inspector Ciaran Murphy and Kevin Street. This is that fraud. This is the Guards, or the Royal Irish Constabulary. And that's the fraud that was on display in the court. That's the fraud that Garrett Charles Casey helped. And this is what Ruth Cannon is opportunistically trying to dovetail into or slipstream on to hide or obscure the civil proceedings against her. And it's it's really just depressing levels of corruption, but also incompetence. And yeah, James, I hope you're enjoying these. Hope they send them to you. Look forward to talking to you on the phone again. I sure as hell don't miss your blank-eyed stare, like staring into the face of a 40-year-old heifer. Actually, no, there's more emotional warmth and depth there. But yeah, because next up is the Mental Health Commission, and some Irish Town phone calls are going up on. I hope everyone's enjoying this. Actually, I was going to finish it there, but no, I'm going to draw on. Alan Murphy as well in Finglas. Like, there was actual repeated audio of Terry Madden admitting child abuse. She admits it under oath in court before Judge John B. O'Leary. And yet, these guards have done everything they can to make sure that this abuser gets protected. Maybe they have mother issues. Maybe they were abused by their mother. Maybe Shane Cahill and Alan Murphy, Diarmuid Murphy, Ciaran Murphy. Oh, there's a running trend there with the Murphys. And James MacNeill, maybe they were abused by their mother or their parents or their uncle. And maybe they liked it. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe the guards liked being abused as children, and that, they can't, they're of such sort of lower intelligence or damaged that they can't fathom anyone who didn't enjoy being abused as a child. And so they do that. So the guards, like Alan Murphy, Diarmuid Murphy, Inspector Ciaran Murphy, James MacNeill, Shane Cahill, specifically, they do everything they can to help other children be abused because they enjoyed it so much as children. And particularly the ones that were abused by their parents or their mother, and like when someone else decides that they want to try and hold someone accountable or not be abused anymore, the guards are like confounded. It's bizarre. Why would you not want to be abused by your parents? And because they think that being abused is fantastic. They probably miss being raped as children, or molested as children. That was probably the best time of their life. Although probably being a guard and being able to do it to more adults and children is probably a good thing for them, in their twisted way of looking at things. But that's just a theory I'm throwing out there. Maybe the guards actually, they have like weird affectionate nostalgia for being victimized by abusive, narcissistic pedophiles, and so that's why they go out of their way to help them. Definitely, Inspector Ciaran Murphy, Diarmuid Murphy, Alan Murphy of Finglas, James MacNeill, Karen Fitzpatrick, Shane Cahill, Brian Gillen. All these people seem to have like a fetishistic thing about helping paedophiles and child abusers. So they must really have enjoyed it, and maybe they've gone into adulthood to do it themselves. It's hard to know because you can't trust people who enable child abusers. But that's my theory. Is that like the reason they're reacting so utterly badly, and utterly confoundingly and obstructively, is because they can't understand that someone wouldn't like it because they liked it so much. Maybe that's just a theory I'm throwing out there.